Good morning and welcome to the programme. Hope you are very well. Thank you very much, Ollie and Mary, for another excellent breakfast show this morning. We're going to be talking about matters that concern you today. In a minute, we're going to be talking to Jeff Plant. So if you have any questions for Jeff, Dr. Jeff Plant, his weekly medical slot, in particular in relation to issues that you may not have been able to get to the doctor about in the last few weeks. We're hopefully going to talk to Vince Power, Waterford-born music festival owner and promoter. The summer, has it been cancelled? People are going to make up their own entertainment, I suppose. But even though the Taoiseach said, or didn't say, that the All-Ireland has been cancelled, it won't be that much of a killjoy. Effectively, large summer gatherings look like they're not going to go ahead. So does this mean the end of the Summer Championship? Big matches? What do you think? Let us know. How's it going to affect you? We're going to be talking about littering. We're going to be hearing from Lemybrien residents in St Bridget's Terrace. We're going to be talking to Owen Corrie about flights and about cancellations of flights and about trying to get your money back from Ryanair and different things like that. William from City Vets is coming in to talk to us about animal topics. So if you have any questions for William, please text us in 083 33 975. And we're going to be talking about car insurance rebates. So we've so much to talk about. And Julie Ward is going to be talking about the Where in Waterford hashtag, which has been trending on Twitter. It's done really well. And I know, for example, different people. We have one of our listeners, Paul O'Neill. He's in Westport. He says that the hashtag allows him to, I suppose, appreciate home. He's over in Mayo. He says, last Monday on the 40th anniversary of the Blues Cup final victory, I walked the streets of Castlebar 10 foot tall. Jeff Plant, good morning.
Morning, Damien, and morning, all your listeners. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. How are you, your family and your staff?
We're good. We're good. As I said to you last week, it's almost like we've now settled into a new normal. It's not normal at all, but there's a new way of working, a new way of life, and I guess it's more because we're doing it now a little longer. There's a more comfort in doing it, if you know what I mean. But yes. It's not normal, but it's becoming a normal.
It throws up a question that a lot of people have been asking, particularly like the hospital. In certain sections of the hospital, it's very quiet over there, the emergency department. Do you think, Jeff, people have been going to the doctors and going to emergency departments when it wasn't really necessary? Some people.
Look, yes, and yes is the short answer to that, but it's very complicated. It's a very complicated issue that on the show down through the years, your listeners would have heard me talking about various conditions that are what we as doctors would classify as minor medical conditions that probably don't need to be seen that often. But yet for the patients suffering from them, they're quite debilitating and very, very worrying. There's a lot of anxiety-related issues and then other issues. So they do take up a lot of time and take up a lot of time for the GPs. But that's not to say they're not real. Now, those type of conditions we're not really seeing at the moment, and maybe there's a good thing to that. So maybe we'll practice a bit different in the future. Who knows? But what is important is that we want, and I know I've emphasised it the last couple of times on with Damien, and I know you've emphasised it, is that we are open. And please, if you have some serious medical condition, don't be holding on to it. We have seen an increase in business again. People are coming back into us. They're not as fearful of coming back in the last few weeks. And we don't want you holding on to your chest pains or worrying symptoms that are that should be seen. So we are open for business.
Okay, a question from a listener out in the Dunmore area. Could a doctor or would a doctor or are doctors willing to subscribe antibiotics by IV at home instead of going to hospital? Her dad doesn't want to go to hospital, and now obviously hospital is very safe. But
great question, and that's a national issue going back years. No, we are not in a position to provide intravenous antibiotics at home or in nursing home settings. So it becomes a little bit delicate. Now there is a slight way around that in that over the last few years they've developed these community nurses who will give a few doses of IV antibiotics at home, but that's only after they've been discharged from hospital or maybe discharged from A&E. The idea is to try and do speedy discharge, try and get them out of hospital quicker. So for whatever reason, I won't get into it here, but no, doctors aren't able to give intravenous antibiotics at home or in a nursing home setting.
Just make sure your line is okay. There was just dropping out very, very slightly there. You mentioned nursing homes, so you're okay. We're going to just talk about nursing homes briefly. Are GPs looking after patients in nursing homes? We just had a text in from a person. What's the level of care medically in a nursing home? My mother is in one and I'm upset that she may not be getting GP care. What happens in a GP scenario regarding nursing homes at present?
Yeah. Okay, so we just all has hit the news in the last day or two due to a consultant in Dublin who wrote an article to say that that GPs weren't servicing nursing homes. That's completely not true. Definitely not true. Now, GPs are working in a very different way to what we were pre the COVID crisis. So, as I've said to you on the programme a few times, if a regular patient is ringing through, we can deal with a lot of stuff by phone. After the phone call with the doctor, if they still need to come in, we bring them in to be seen. The same goes for nursing homes. Now, I look after Mooncoin Residential Nursing Home from the chiropractic patients there, and I know my patients very well out there, and I am able to deal, and I have been for many years able to deal with my patients via phone call a lot of the time. But when I'm needed out there, I will still go and see them and do rounds and things like that. So patients are being well serviced in nursing homes at the moment in Waterford. I can promise you that from a GP point of view. Yes, things might be slightly different. We deal with maybe a little bit more over the phone, but when patients are sick, they're still being seen, they're still being sorted. So, for example, I'll give you a great example. Yesterday, I do a round in my nursing home, and now from a legal point of view, we have to see our patients every so often. And there's a fear from GPs and from the nursing homes that we don't want to be the vectors of COVID going into a nursing home. I'm sure your listeners and you can understand that, Damien. You do not want to be the person who unconsciously causes an outbreak. Yeah. So I was able to do a ward round. Now, when I go and do my ward rounds in the nursing homes, normally I will often just say hello to them, a quick chat, and talk to the nurses what issues are there. Now, if the patient needs to be examined, I'll examine them, of course. But I'm able to do mine by Skype at the moment. The nursing home are very happy with it, and the patients are happy with it. So they're still getting seen. I'm still sorting out all the issues. Now, when someone still gets sick and they need to be seen, I'm still going to see them. And I'm pretty sure I can speak for most of the GPs that is what the story. So this hit the news yesterday, and it was a bit upsetting because we are working differently. And I think it was a little, I don't know. I don't know what the background is of where it came from. Like, it just was a bit upsetting. I'm putting on personal protective equipment and seeing query COVID cases 2 or 3 days a week at the moment. And just to get that was, you can understand, we were just a little bit sensitive, I guess.
Just on that then, if somebody contracts COVID and if they're in a nursing home, another texter texted in, I presume then that the COVID procedures apply straight away. So it may be taken out of the GP's care, or is it doctors and nurses that go in?
It hasn't, as we've said before, we've been very lucky in Waterford, very lucky with the numbers. I understand if they're significant.
And it's more than luck as well, isn't it? Been very, very stringent and very good,
of course, due to the fantastic work. Sorry, Damon, of course.
No, but look, it comes into it as well. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Every one of us are obviously doing great at the moment. But yes, if there is an outbreak in a nursing home, I've been led to believe, and I'm not sure in this, that special teams may come in and take over, and that has happened in Dublin a few times.
Yes, very good. Okay.
Yeah.
The INMO, the Nurses and Midwives Organisation, just issued a statement a second ago now. I don't know if you've seen this, but it's welcomed a change in the national policy. The national policy now mandates face masks in all settings for any healthcare workers who provide care within 2 metres of a patient. It also applies to any of their colleagues who come within 2 metres for more than 15 minutes. So it looks like now we're getting to that phase where face masks are going to be worn by healthcare workers. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think even since the beginning of this, we used to talk about things changing every week, but it's changing every 12 hours. Now, it's calmed a little bit, but yeah, the face mask thing seems to be shifting a little bit. I read a good article yesterday about that in these countries, that it may be compulsory in some countries even for everyone to wear face masks outside. Now, I don't think that's going to happen here just yet, but it's more from an altruistic side in terms of you protecting everyone else. I know in our own practice, if we are consulting with patients face-to-face, we're often putting masks on, particularly if there's going to be less than 2 metres. So if we have to do an examination or take bloods, we are using that system already.
Okay. Do you think this may be just a case that if they had said to everybody to wear face masks from the very start, there would have been a shortage of face masks for healthcare workers?
Yeah, I definitely think that. Definitely think that. But the other thing, Damien, and for your listeners to understand, is this is a brand new situation and a brand new virus. And, often the way medicine and science work is that research takes place. It takes place over a long period of time to prove something is effective or not effective. So you can imagine the pressure that the people who make these decisions are under, both from the science that's coming in, from the demands of the patient, and to manage the public and the resources that are available. It must be very, very difficult. And, when new information is coming all the time, it is tough to make these decisions. So at the beginning of this, the face mask thing was slightly, the thinking on it is slightly different to what it is now. And now it hasn't changed an awful lot, but it is different. So I think we will. Yeah, I think there will be changes to the face mask situation, but I'd hate to see it that there are thousands of face masks out there, and then me or someone who's seeing a query COVID patient or the COVID teams in the hospital not having access. I mean, that would be a disaster. Yeah. I am a little concerned. I guess I'm a little bit worried. I feel we're coming towards it's about a week and a half left before they might start lifting some of the measures. I don't know what you feel or your listeners have been texting in, but I feel there's a kind of a narrative of complacency slipping in, and I'm just worried about that. As you mentioned earlier, we've done so well in the southeast, and Ireland in general is doing reasonably well. But all it takes is a change in mentality, and for this to have a significant outbreak for very quickly, and for the numbers to change very, very quickly. So, I've noticed this driving around. I've noticed this in the shops and stuff. People are becoming a little bit more relaxed, or going, not obeying the rules as much. So can I just encourage all the listeners that please keep this up. It's for everyone's good. I know it's tough, but it is saving lives, and we have actively, and everyone at home has already saved significant numbers of lives by complying with the recommendations. So try not to take the foot off the pedal now. We are going to be living with this for a long time, Damien. This virus ain't going away. So there will be new restrictions out in public, and hopefully people will obey them. Until a vaccine comes in, we may have period of time where the restrictions are lifted, and then there might be an outbreak again, and we have to all kind of go back to where we were. So this isn't going to be over come, May the 5th? This isn't going to be over. There's going to be lots of things, and we're all going to have to settle in. I use the words at the beginning, settle into a new norm.
Jeff, mind yourself, your family and your staff.
Okay, thank you, Damien. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jeff Plant there, with some very good advice. I think he's right. I think there has been a relaxation in people's minds and in some people's attitudes. And it's only natural. You can see how it's going to happen, and particularly with the weather being so good. But we have to encourage people to stay safe, maintain the social distance. Please, please, please. Can you believe it? It's 7 weeks ago. 7 weeks ago now since the first case in Ireland. So it's been a long 7 weeks for so many people. And we were doing really well in so many respects. Anybody who has suffered the loss of a loved one, anybody who is cocooning and that is so frustrated, anybody suffering from mental health issues. There's so many issues out there that people have that may not be able to express those issues, but we're doing so well compared to many other places. So please, please, please try and maintain it. A texter in saying that nurses working in residential HSE homes are not being given masks and cannot practice distances due to the nature of their work. So should they be given masks? There's a question. Another text in, if somebody is wearing a face mask, there's no point putting it on top of their head when they go to speak to somebody and then putting it around their nose and mouth. It defeats the purpose. So if you are wearing a mask, do you know how to wear the mask? Simple as that if you're out and about. Damien, Leo didn't give any mention to the hairdressers last night on primetime, but I noticed himself and Miriam were sporting lovely hairstyles. Have they been getting to the hairdressers? Good question. I don't know. A text in for somebody due to fly to Malaga on the 15th of April for 1 week. The flight was cancelled. They applied for a refund 2 weeks ago. I got an email saying there was a delay due to the volume of cancellations. Yesterday I got another email with a voucher number. If I want a refund, I have to apply again. And that is in from Tony. So anybody, any stories regarding flights that they've been looking for refunds and they haven't got their money back yet? A texter in, should we get a tax back on our cars for at least a month? A lot of people haven't been using their cars, don't use their cars because they've been obeying social distance, but they're still paying tax and insurance on their cars. What do you think about that? Let us know. 083 33 975. Want to give a special mention as well to our hero thing that we're doing with SE2. If there is somebody that you think is a hero in the community, if you'd like to text us in, 083 33 975. It's not a competition. There will be a system in place. I'm going to explain that later in the programme, where we're going to be able to pull out somebody, and there will be a €250 voucher given courtesy of SE2. So you can call in as well to 051 846 123. There's a lady in Tallow who is celebrating her 100th birthday today. I think Mrs. Barry, we want to say happy birthday to her today. I want to say happy birthday to George as well, George Flynn in Waterside. But Mrs. Barry's 100 in Tallow today, and one of her family members rang us earlier. If you want to give us a ring back, we just want to have a quick chat. Stay with us. We're going to be talking hopefully to Vince Power next. Welcome back. I'll give you more details about that SE2 Community Hero Award in a minute, but I'm going to go straight to Vince Power. Good morning, Vince.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm just locked down like most people.
Where are you in the world at present, Vince?
I'm in Kilburn. Came down 1963, but I've come back around. I'm in Kilburn and London.
Yes, I used to work in the Spotted Dog in Wills, and I think the pub is now gone.
It's a Costa coffee now.
It is, that's right, yeah. Vince, festivals during the summer and the cancellation of festivals. People know you as a very good and very well-known and promoter. What's your thoughts on the matter?
I think it's sad. It's going to happen. I don't think there'll be a festival this summer, to be honest. I mean, I've got all my gigs rescheduled to September, but that's looking unlikely now. But by the way, things are going.
And
I would say we're looking towards next year.
From a logistical...
That's my take on it.
Yeah, let me ask you first from a logistical point of view. How does it... Like, you're very good at acts being cancelled and having to fill in and get other acts and juggling around, and it's part of what you've done so well over the years. But something like this, how have you approached it from a financial perspective, the logistics of it?
Well, it's a nightmare, really. I mean, in theory, you're supposed to pay the acts if the gig doesn't happen. So, but that can't happen because I don't think any promoter can afford to pay the acts if they don't play. So, but majority of acts will just reschedule it or just cancel it. And that's what we've been doing, just rescheduling it. It's just a disaster, really. One only way to put it.
What about the small print in the contracts? Like, does it mention pandemics, or is it a case that like Ryanair, if the flight's cancelled, you have to give money back? Or how does are you going to be hit with potentially a bill here?
No, I am not going to be hit with a bill personally, but obviously we got staffing costs and we got lots of costs. And obviously, even if it does happen in September, I know being closed since the 14th of March, so that's a long time to pay rent, to pay rates, to pay electricity, everything really. It'll be touch and go whether or not we survive it, really, I think. Yeah,
because we hear of in Britain. Certain businesses are getting certain payments and individuals are getting payments. What's it been for your own company's situation?
Well, they're getting payments, but they haven't received them. I mean, I don't know anybody that is in my business that received actual money from the government yet. The applications are put in for grants and to get 80% of the salary for your staff, which we've applied for, which they said is coming, but it hasn't come yet. So we're just hanging around waiting. And, that's the way it is at the moment. So, I mean, what you hear and what happens on the ground is two different things.
Do you think it's right that the concerts have all been cancelled?
Yes, of course. I mean, what can you do? I mean, it's a serious situation. It would be. I don't know. It would be very careless of any authority to let something go ahead with this much doubt involved. we're still a good bit away from September, but, it looks like if it gets up near June, July, then you can forget September. I think then we're looking at Christmas. But, it has I think it has a bit of a bigger effect on people everywhere. I just think people just getting used to doing nothing now, and, it's terrible for the first couple of months, but, you're getting used to anything.
Yeah, people do acclimatise, as they say, don't they? Like, individually we do it as well. I presume you've your own personal habits, you've just got used to it.
Yeah, I do. I go down. I live above one of my venues. I go downstairs every night and I put on music and I have a few glasses of wine and get on with it. Get back up in the morning.
What about refunds, and what about customers and punters and concert goers? Like, all together now, the tickets are going to be fully valid for next year. I presume it'll be very difficult to refund everybody that's bought tickets.
Well, the onus on the refund is on the actual the ticket agent. So the ticket agent is the one that has to refund. If you want a refund, then you're entitled to it. And if that doesn't happen, you can claim it from most people have paid by debit or credit card. So you can, in this country, I'm sure it's the same now, but you can get your money back if you want to. But most of the people that I've just rescheduled gigs with have been very good. They've just kept it in. Like we had a huge lineup for St. Patrick's weekend of the Hot House Flowers, the Furies, the Dubliners. I've got so much Guinness down in the bar, which I've gone off now, but which didn't happen. So, but most of these customers, they didn't ask for their money back. We've rescheduled it till September, I guess. And if it doesn't happen in September, then, which is likely it might not, then the C tickets are my agent. So the ticket agent will actually give the money to the customer, and then they will chase me for it. So, but we have a deal with them.
It's cruel to see drink going off, isn't it?
I was thinking of a way of actually doing. I've got one license out here, which is on and off sales, which means I can sell stuff off. And I think I'm setting up the thing for selling pints of draft Guinness on the street, to see if I could just get rid of it. I think a few people thought I was mad.
It hasn't happened, has it?
No, well, there's nothing else to sell. Everything else is takeaway here, which you can get. There's so many shops in Kilburn, like food shops, and it's a multicultural area. But like you can buy anything takeaway here. But I thought, well, maybe I should do Guinness, but one idea that didn't happen, probably just as well.
It's a beautiful area. Kilburn's a great area, buzzing area. How are things there, just on a personal level, with that? The whole idea of Boris and the Sunday Times article and the government there compared to where here, or like, what's your own personal feeling about how things are going?
Well, I think I watch it a lot now. There's nothing else to do, but I just think that they're making it up as they go along. Really, the government here, because they say, look, we're going to do this, so many tests every week, and we're going to have this many PPE stuff, and it doesn't come. But now they've got half of it here, and there's I'm sure there's people in the NHS which are losing their lives because of this. I think when it all settles down, there'll be a lot of answers to be answered. There'll be a lot of questions to be answered.
I think there will be. There'll probably be an inquiry, but it'll be too late for those people that have died, as you say.
It's extremely sad. I think we all know somebody who's come foul to it. And it doesn't discriminate, that's for sure.
A texter just texted in to say, when things do get back up and running, any chance you could bring back the racecourse gig in Tramore? I'd say you're asked that every time that you're back.
Saving up for it. It's not a bad idea, actually. It's not a bad idea. It's just I need to find the money. To probably work now. It's you've got that fantastic motorway, which takes you an hour and a half to get from Dublin.
Yeah.
When I did the Farmo, it took something like 4 hours to get from Dublin to Waterford.
Can I ask you on a serious note, Vince Power, you've survived so many different recessions within the entertainment business. Are you going to survive this?
Well, my health is good, thank God. Now, that's the only thing I need to survive. The other things just come against my own will. I mean, I just do it, It's like there's no such thing as we can't do it. I never had that attitude, even when we were doing well and we had enough was never enough in my old head. I always did things, whether it was Glastonbury or whatever festival, do one festival and I need to do 2 more and 3 more. So maybe that was the reason I'm sort of still not a very rich man.
Yeah, no.
But I will do something. I will do an event, of course, with my, But this does have a long effect, I think, on people just hanging around doing nothing. I think it can kill your spirit because there's only so many times you can do these things that are recommended you should do, like, have virtual sort of drinks and virtual dinners with people, and it just doesn't. But just once in a while is fine. But
yeah, no,
I think I've been locked up now since the 14th March, more or less. My routine is that I go out for 2 meters walk, go to the shop, and that's it. Really, I'm back in. You got to stay 10 meters away. You kill them from everybody. That's the way it is. I'm sure everybody else is having the same in Waterford and Ireland, everywhere.
They are. Yeah, it's tough. People will miss the concerts, won't they?
Well, yeah. I mean, music is a very important part of your health. Really, I think. I can't see the small live music venues, which I am now. I've got a 600 capacity and a 400 and a 150 in Kilburn capacity. But these are the venues in any country that are important because these are where new talent is spotted. They're the grassroots of everything, really. So I think these are the ones that are definitely going to. I think the big venues will survive, but the small ones, like the small theatres, the small restaurants, it'll be interesting to see what comes out of this time next year. If we have the same chat, we'll probably be. Hopefully we're still alive, but what we'll be doing.
Vince, mind yourself.
And you, thank you.
Take it easy. I really appreciate you talking to us, Vince. Take it easy. Mind yourself. Bye. Okay, good luck. Vince Power there, concert music promoter. As you know, he grew up in Waterford, moved to London at the age of 16, built his music empire. So the cancellation of any events with more than 5,000 people over the summer, what do you think? Please let us know. Keep in touch and text us. Now, the Community Hero Award with SE2, the company SE2, we've teamed up with them. We've a 250 Waterford gift voucher every week. Can be used in 150 shops and bars and restaurants around Waterford now or in the future, obviously, if only those bars and restaurants are closed. And you can be deemed SE2 Community Hero of the Week. So what we have to do is you have to go onto our website, wlrfm.com, and you just go into the win section there. You can nominate your hero, or you can text the hero's name and the good deed that he or she has done to 083 333 975. You could call 051 846 123, but the lines are quite busy there at the minute. And get your entries in before 12 noon each Friday. One hero will be selected from the draw and announced every Monday. And thank you very much, SE2, for helping us with that. Purpose built for future proof. Stay with us. We're going to be talking about gloves and litter and stuff being thrown on the streets and how disgusting it is. Now, stay with us. In a second, I'm going to be talking to Jason King. Firstly, a couple of texts in. What's the situation for Spree in August? Liz from our news team has been talking to Deise Honan, and they're just looking at what the options are at present. Congratulations to all involved with Youthquake, Aoibhinn Fallon's piece. I saw it advertised on Facebook, was delighted. I kept the radio on later than usual. Very compelling storyline. I thought the acting was excellent. Well done, WLR, and well done, Aoibhinn in particular. Damien, is there any truth in the rumour that People's Park might be closing for a certain amount of hours from tomorrow until further notice? I don't know. We'll ask the council about that. We were asked to buy vouchers, says this texter, to support businesses during the COVID crisis. Yet people are enraged at the prospect of accepting vouchers for airlines. Do they not want the airlines to survive the crisis? Very good point, Annie. Mary Lou had lovely hair and makeup. Her makeup was flawless on the Ivan Yates programme last night. I wonder, did she do it herself? There's a good question. I might get Mary Lou on to ask her that. Another person, I rang about tax and insurance in my car. Nothing being done for car tax unless you declare your car off the road. And with the insurance, you can suspend it. but you must write to them, send in your disc with it, and if it's longer than 4 weeks, they'll look at some form of refund. Damien Azuri making face masks. Claire Byrne said Professor O'Neill said on Claire Byrne everyone should wear a mask going to the supermarket to be put on leaving home, says this texter, and not taken off and then washed. He suggested washable ones. And a few other people texting in about flights being booked. We'll deal with that in a little while. Firstly, I'm going to go to Jason. Good morning, Jason.
Morning, Damien. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for getting in touch with us. You contacted me and it's a pleasure to talk to you. You lead a national walking initiative and you're a member of Mountaineering Ireland. What have you been seeing around and about?
Yeah, Damien, I suppose it's concerning. On hearing you there just talking about masks and people having to wear a mask during this crisis, going to shops, etc. Obviously, a lot of people are wearing rubber gloves. There's been huge increase of litter being dumped on the side of the roads. I witnessed this myself locally here in Motorway, but in particular, rubber gloves and baby wipes. Now, obviously, this is not a local thing. It is not confined on the Ballyduff Kilmeaden area. But friends of mine who are avid walkers and runners are experiencing the same thing. Colleagues of mine in Mountaineering Ireland up and down the country are also experiencing the same thing. So it's something that needs to be addressed, and I'd be very interested to hear what your listeners think of that. And as these, I suppose, it has been an increase since the restrictions with COVID. The more people around.
Your line is just, you might have moved there, Jason. Your line is just breaking up a little bit. You're okay, yeah? No, you're okay.
Look, there's more and more people out walking. It's visible, you can see it on the ground. But rubbish is starting to pile up in places, on country roads in particular. People are dropping them, whether they're coming out of the car window or they're coming out of their pockets as they're walking. But it's horrible to see, you know what I mean? You're out and about for a bit of fresh air, and this is what you're witnessing. So.
Yeah, we've got pictures in, and people have been messaging me as well personally about pictures at bottle banks and loads of bottles, and loads of people, obviously a lot more, and the figures show that drinking at home has gone up 50%, so people are dropping. Now there are some people also increasing the fly tipping, as it's called, dumping rubbish illegally.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, Jason, do you think it's because they think there's not as many people around and that they think, I'll get away with it, and they're just going out? Or is it a financial situation? Or are some people saying, well,
I think it's pure ignorance, Damien, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be making excuses for it at all.
Yeah.
There's always a bin. We all have wheelie bins outside our house. If you have gloves in your pocket and you're not using them, or if you finish using them, bring them home and put them in the bin. Dispose of them properly. Like dropping them on the side of a road is just, you know what I mean? That's just pure ignorance, Damien. You couldn't make any excuse for that. Or any litter or dumping of any rubbish in this day and age,
And also, I'm going to say, Jason, like if somebody throws gloves or a face mask, gloves in particular, there's no way you're going to pick that up because it has that extra medical connotation, and your points are being 100% agreed upon by this council worker who just texted me. I work for the council, I pick up some litter, he's a litter picker. The amount of gloves, tissues and masks is sickening. No regard for our health. So there is the health of the council workers that has to come into play as well here, isn't there?
Absolutely, and something that's really jumped out at me as well. Look, there's a restriction of 2 kilometres radius for people to be active and physically active, which most people are adhering to. There's no doubt about that. People are being really creative with their ideas and getting out and about and running and walking, etc. And most are sticking to the 2 kilometre distance. So with that in mind, like for me, it suggests that a lot of this is being done by local people. They're not people passing through, in particular around the country. So it begs the question to think, like, what is their thinking around all this? Are they opening the window of a car? And what I am noticing as well, it's more actually the white gloves or the powdered gloves. And you see a baby wipe next to it. And I've gotten into the car with powdered gloves on me and I've taken them off. And the steering wheel, obviously, it's all over your hands and it's on the steering wheel. So I would say they're probably just being dumped out the window of cars. People going home from a shop, opening the window of a car and chucking them on the side of the road. And it's not up to the council workers to be able to go out and have the responsibility of picking these up. I went around the other day off my own back, and I'm not encouraging anybody to do this.
Yeah.
And I picked up a bag full of rubbish on the route that I'd walk, and a lot of those were rubber gloves and baby wipes.
Another thing that's come up, and we haven't yet seen the effect on this, but the Tidy Towns competition has officially been cancelled now for the summer. So you're going to see more rubbish in villages and towns around the country. Yeah. And the Tidy Towns people have been great, and I was involved in one myself for a number of years, at helping keep places clean. So this is now going to have another effect, isn't it?
It is. I was thinking about, look, how do you get around this? What's the solution to this? Look, obviously there's a communication, a strong communication message needed locally to get this out there. And I'm sure you'll be inundated with text messages after these conversations that we have. But I think maybe, look, it's about people getting out and maybe doing a little bit locally, and not just the rubber gloves, picking up a few bits yourself, on the side of a road, whether you have a picker or you're wearing gloves. And I'm not talking about masks and gloves in particular, but rubbish in general. And, having that visibility on the ground that people really care about their local areas, and care about people dumping rubbish on the side of the road. And if you create that visibility, I think, and more people out doing that proactively, you may see less and less of it. It's starting to appear more and more now in local sites as well. Quilter sites in particular, what are closed at the moment, they shouldn't be used. But a lot of gloves being dumped. 2 dozen pairs of gloves, one friend of mine counted in Ballyscanlon there over the last couple of days.
2 dozen?
2 dozen pairs, up to 30 pairs, he said, actually. So he said on the ground, just tucked around that. But they must be local people then, walking.
Yeah, they have to be. You're right, Jason. Yeah, they have to be.
Have to be. So what does that say? Are they people like, members of Mountaineering Ireland, members who with our own programme get Ireland walking? I mean, these I would consider to be responsible people, responsible walkers. So if these are people just out for a bit of fresh air that are not, they're not avid walkers, they don't really care about the environment, maybe it's these people that are dropping it. I would hope that it's not our own members that are doing it, which I wouldn't think it is.
I wouldn't think it is, because they're very conscious. And like with plastics as well, if animals ingest plastics, you have the extra complications of possible...
It's just horrible to see.
Yeah.
Horrible.
I doubt if it is. Listen, we'll follow this up and we'll see what people have to say. Jason, you mind yourself and take it easy, okay?
Yeah, maybe it's something that, when these restrictions are going to be lifted, and they're going to be lifted over the next couple of weeks, and I would see probably walking being one of those. People need, the weather is fantastic at the moment, and people want to be outside. So maybe it's something that leading into that on a day that we have a bit of a litter picking day between us before we get out and enjoy it a little bit more,
Jason,
suggestions, I'd be interested to hear suggestions of your listeners.
Exactly, yeah, and so would I. We'll ask them to text in. Listen, Jason, mind yourself and take care, and everybody involved in Mountaineering Ireland, take care. God bless. Yeah, thanks, Jason. Jason King there, and a member of Mountaineering Ireland. What do you think? Is Jason right? 083 3333 975. Text, please. Somebody has just texted, we walk the dog along the Lacken Road every day. More and more rubbish. It's disgraceful. Paul said he was walking around Waterford City early this morning. The Apple Market, Michael Street, Broad Street, Barnstrand Street, back to the Viking Triangle. The general consensus with me and the person I was walking with, we thought, what a beautiful city we have. We will never allow anybody to knock it again. That's a nice comment, Paul. A number of people have been texting in about the rubbish, all right, saying that it is disgraceful. And Billy phoned in to ask about smaller gyms like kickboxing, where they may have up to 100 people over a week in there. What is the situation with smaller gyms? Well, gyms, as I know, are closed at the present, but maybe the question is about should they reopen in time, or should there be a phased reopening? Let us know what you think. Also, in a minute, we are going to hear from the wonderful people of Lemybrien. A text in from a Kilmeaden listener. Yes, I totally agree with Jason. Rubbish on the side of the road, particularly around Kilmeaden. There's a constant stream of people throwing rubbish from their car on the road. I've seen it on many, many occasions. Another texter saying, when a neighbour of my mother-in-law, we got a car reg of a vehicle dumping rubbish on the outskirts of the city. He went to the relevant authority, but he was ultimately advised not to get involved, as the family involved, inverted commas, could make his life hell. Sadly, that's what we are dealing with. Another texter, my grandniece and grandnephew picked all the rubbish on the Glen Road from the 5 crossroads in Stradbally a week or two ago, and people have still been fly tipping all the time. We brought a bag yesterday to pick up some rubbish and got loads more again. Please, 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 can people stop throwing their rubbish? Very good point. Now, I was at Lemybrien, the Kilrossenty area. I spoke to people in Veal's shop. We're going to play that piece tomorrow. But firstly, I went to the wonderful St. Bridget's Terrace in Lemybrien and spoke to a few people about how they're getting on with the lockdown, with lock-in, with cocooning, with just, I suppose, managing in this day and age. Spoke first with Nora. She's looking after her husband who has dementia, and other residents at St. Bridget's Terrace in Lemybrien. Nora, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you.
What's the surname?
Walsh.
How long are you here, Nora?
About 40, 50 years.
Who's here with you?
My husband got dementia.
You're looking after him. How are you managing?
Oh, well, I'm spoiled. My two sons, and they're here up and down. All the time.
And what's their names?
David and Tony.
What's the toughest part, do you think?
Here it's a mixture of both, like, you know. You've got dementia and you've got everything else. So it's not easy. None of it is easy. Let's put it like that. But it has to be done, and that's, you know, people are managing somehow.
And people are very good. They look after each other.
Yes.
Community's very good.
Yes. I think so anyway. I think so.
What's this lady's name?
My name is Mary O'Donnell.
Hello, Mary. How are you?
Fine, thank you. You're Damien, and
That's right. You're sitting out in the sun here.
well, we have no other choice. Says you, but and once we get up and go out, that's the main thing.
How long are you here, Mary?
I'm here over 35 years.
Tell us about the community here. Tell us about the neighbours.
Oh, they're very good. I have two very good neighbours that I kind of rely on. My first cousin down there, Teresa Hutton, she's very good to me. And my neighbour up there, Helen Lally, very good to me if I need neighbours, like, you know. And that's my daughter. She lives down in that estate.
And how are you managing? What are you finding the most difficult?
It's just, if you've been used to going out to places, you know, like socialising, you know, like, that's the only thing, like, you'd find that you'd find that you know, you can't go. I know, I understand, but you know, you have to stay put.
Do you find it a bit lonely, or the fact that the family and the neighbours are around us?
I know, so I'm so used to being on my own that way, like, I kind of do my own thing, like, you know. But at the same time, like, you know, you'd nice to see that you could, somebody could come in and have a cup of tea with you, you know, that kind of a thing. Would you like a cup?
No, I'm grand, thanks to Grant. Does it make you think about things as well, about how the world is?
Well, it does. It's sad, like, in different places, haven't it? So many poor people have lost their life with it, which is like a sad situation. But, like, I mean, it must have been coming into the world with a while, wasn't it? It must have been. It just couldn't happen just overnight. Please God, to sort itself out, and that people can get well again and live a happy lives and things like that's all you can do, like, isn't it?
And do you watch the news much, or do you try not to, or how do you do it?
I watch it, but I wouldn't watch it all the time, like, you know, because you hear the same thing. I know, like, so I kind of just, I have the main news on the 6 o'clock or whatever, so, but I wouldn't have it on 24/7, the news like that, but, like, you know.
You like a bit of music?
I like the music.
John O'Shea,
yeah. We used to like to go into music dancing, like, up to all the bands.
Hopefully get back to that at some stage.
Oh, please God.
Thanks, Mary, you're very good. Who do we have here?
This is Geraldine Callahan.
Hello, Geraldine.
Pleased to meet you.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
We're standing 2 metres apart.
We are, yeah.
How have you found it?
I'm getting kind of pissed off of it now. Sorry for using that expression. But I am.
Why?
Wait till I see you now. What reason will I give you for that? The worst of it is just to have to be staying at home, like. I don't be at home all the time now. I goes out for my shopping. My husband brings me, and that's it. 'Tis nice to be able to go out for a drive every Sunday like I used to with my husband.
What's your husband's name?
Michael, he's out at the back now cutting the grass. So he is.
You're not killing each other yet?
No, we didn't kill one another yet. No, we won't. We won't go to that stage. So we won't.
Couples have to find ways of, like, because it can be quite claustrophobic, and you have to be able to get out and do little things. And,
yeah.
you know,
I was just going for a walk now only.
Yeah.
But I just woke up this morning here with a terrible sore throat. I hope I'm not going getting anything. I don't want to get that virus that's out there. So I don't.
What are you finding the most difficult?
To stay at home and keep your hands washed. That's it. And missing company. My little grandchildren, I've 6 of them. And I miss them terribly, but I do talk to them on the phone.
What's their names?
They're Ashton, JJ, Aaron, James, Rochelle and Corey. Corey's only 9 months old and he's lovely, and they're all lovely, God bless them, but I miss them terrible. I can't wait to be hugging and kissing them again.
I can hear the emotion in your voice. People are trying their best, and yet it is tough, as you say.
It is tough. It's very tough now for the people that are on the cocooning, in other words.
Yeah.
It's sad for the poor old people and all the people's families that are after dying. It's terrible sad for him, so it is. We didn't get that, thank God we didn't get it, but there's a lot of families after getting it, so they are. With this virus that's out, I hope it'll be lifted now soon.
Mind yourself.
And you too, Damien.
You hear what Mammy had to say. How are you finding it yourself?
Sure, you'd be sick of it now, really. But we'll have to live on, though. Yeah. And, like, things are getting tough, like, and all that and whatever. And, like, when they come to an end, thank God, I hope it don't come again. I'm missing the pubs, all right. But
Will you go back to the pubs?
I don't know. I'm a long time off from now. I don't know will I go back at all. So I mind.
Is it suiting you not going into the pub?
Yeah, actually, it is. It is. Yeah.
But you'd miss the crack in a chat.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you missed the crack. Yeah.
And everybody on the estate here and around, everybody looks after each other and keeps an eye, do they?
They do. Yeah, they do. By God, yeah. Yeah.
How are you doing?
Not too bad. Michael, that's correct, yeah, that's right.
Have to turn off the engine now for a minute. You're cutting the grass here.
Sure, I've something to do to kill the time. I'm a bit bored from not being at work. So
What would you be normally working at?
Well, I drive an excavator driver. I'm only just doing this for the tidy towns here. You have to give them a hand out, like. So, like, it is something for me to do to kill an hour or two at it, like, you know, so.
Do you find the days very long or the nights long, or how are you managing?
Not really, no. The day is a bit boring, like, you know. At times it is when you have nothing to do, like, you know, it's a bit boring, but you have no racing or no nothing now, like, you know, and it's only all repeats now in hurling and things and all that, like, you know, so. As you know, we buried a famous hurler in Ballydurn, God have mercy on the man, and he was a part of the GA scene too, like down there in Ballydurn, like, you know. Didn't live too far away from the man. I was born and reared there in Carrigie, and just about half a mile away from him, like a mile away from his home, like, you know.
Are we going to get through all this?
Well, hopefully we will. Hopefully we will.
Are you missing the work?
I am a bit, yeah.
God bless, Michael.
Okay, thank you very much.
And we will have more reports out and about with people, and as I say, those interviews recorded at a distance of more than 2 metres. I have an extension microphone on a big stick, and that's how they're being done. Thanks to everybody in St. Bridget's Terrace, and we'll be talking to the Veals tomorrow.